Well, my daytime job is executive director of a local nonprofit called Nucis Space, and our focus is providing mental health services to musicians and artists in our community. And I spent my 20s playing in bands around town, and I kind of volunteered my way into my current job. Coolest place I ever played was CBGB's in New York. There's definitely an energy there that you can't explain. Nucis Space, we focus on mental health, but our story is out of one of tragedy. There's a young musician in Athens. He was also a UGA student by the name of Nucis. He suffered from clinical depression for about 5 or 6 years, and then took his life when he was a senior here at UGA. And his family came up with the idea for Nucis Space to combine his love of music, but also access to healthcare in a timely manner. As I began to learn more about that job and what it takes to actually run a nonprofit, I realized that I was missing some areas of knowledge. So I went back to school and eventually got my MBA, and it really gave me the knowledge to appropriately run a nonprofit, because it is a business. You know, a lot of people think that nonprofits are all run on, hugs and rainbows, but it's a business. And so I really like how those two things come together, the business aspect and the arts, because those things intersect actually a lot more comfortably than most people would think. Just as I have a very non-traditional path in my education, because I was a dropout first and then went back and went through grad school, I also have a very non-traditional path in the way I've started teaching. When I was working on my MBA, I became very interested in social entrepreneurship. I researched UGA and tried to find a course in it. One didn't exist. And the next closest place was Duke University. Once I graduated, they still didn't have a social entrepreneurship class at UGA, and so they asked if I would teach it. And then, since then, I've been asked to teach 2 other courses, one in nonprofit leadership and theory and management of nonprofits. Social entrepreneurship is using business principles to create social impact, and it's still being defined in a lot of ways. One of the most common used definitions is from Osberg and Martin, and they talk about first identifying an unjust equilibrium and then devising a plan to change it, and then implementing that process and figuring out a way to scale that initiative so it can take over at a larger scale. I guess I'd like students to know that the way I view teaching is not, here I'm going to impart all this wisdom on you, because I'm learning every single day. And so I like to think of teaching as a group effort, and I'm guiding that process. But my hope is that students realize that they have an obligation to challenge me, and put things out there for the rest of the group. I really want us to be focused on this group knowledge and working together, because I think that's the way you make real change, is by working in larger groups. I guess I would define success as the ability to wake up every morning and enjoy going to work, feel fulfilled in the work that you're doing, and then come home to a family that supports that, and being able to take care of yourself and your family and the people around you. I'm not sure if using the word happy is the right way, because people can define that in so many different ways, but feeling fulfilled, I think, is important.